Minneapolis Public Schools, inclusive practices currently in place. They have a video. Check it out. This is from the Minneapolis Public Schools website, and they have a page called Making the Case for Inclusive Practices. It's got quite a bit on it, but this is just one part of the page. It has a video made by some students here, and then it has inclusive practices currently in place at Minneapolis Public Schools. Let's take a look at this one. This one's a little longer, and we'll talk about this one here. All right.
As a special ed teacher, inclusion means that students with special needs and regular ed students work together in the same classroom. They attend and participate in class together.
Okay, everybody hear that? Students with special needs work together with regular ed students in the same class together. They attend and participate together.
Inclusion means that all students in the building are a vital and integral part of the school.
I like that. Vital and integral part of the school. All students, not just the regular ed, but in the special ed program, all students are a vital, integral part of the school. I guess that would mean beyond just the classroom, but it would go into extracurricular, school assemblies. All students are a vital, integral part of the school.
Inclusion means to me where every child, regardless of their special needs, language, or any kind of abilities, are fully included in the school community.
Fully included, regardless of their special needs. Fully included. That's what the principal of the Dowling was saying. That's pretty great.
Inclusion is really broadening the spectrum of differentiation in a classroom, where students with all different kinds of needs are able to work together throughout their school day.
Broadening the spectrum of differentiation in the classroom. That sounds like kind of making sweeping accommodations, adaptations that would probably benefit more kids than just the ones being included, that you would imagine would be included from special ed.
All students deserve to be valued as equal, contributing members of their school communities. Students with special needs bring unique skills and attributes to their classrooms. And at Minneapolis Public Schools, we are working to include students with special needs alongside their peers in general education.
The benefits to me of inclusion are that we can maintain high expectations for our kids. They're exposed to all kinds of great materials. The teachers that are teaching the course are extremely qualified in those courses, and they are very experienced with teaching that material. And the kids just really, I think, rise to a new level because the expectations are higher.
I like being
Okay, so high expectations is a big thing. It seems like in a regular ed class, you expect that students should be able to access the general ed curriculum, and behave in a certain way, and just giving kids the opportunity to do that, but allowing them to experience that through adaptations or coming up with a plan that will help them do that with support is what inclusion is about to me. When there's a separate program, oftentimes I find that the expectations are lowered, and a lot of what would be taught in the curriculum is skipped or just replaced, and is taught year after year. Something is taught that's not really necessarily age appropriate, or socially appropriate. So to me, that's one of the great benefits of inclusion, is that it does operate in the high expectations model, where you're in a classroom where you're getting grade level curriculum, you're getting socialization from your peers, and just a bunch of it's an environment that really supports new learning uh, and growth.
Put it in a mainstream class because I know that if I work hard enough that I can get up to my actual grade level.
I have two teachers, a special ed teacher and a mainstream teacher. The mainstream teacher, she helps me get to where I'm at, like where freshman level, like in all of my grade of that. And then the special ed teacher knows how I work and makes it easy and like where I can understand it, I can comprehend it. And then so they work together and make it so I can get out their help and make it simpler.
So it sounds like maybe the special ed teacher and the general ed teacher are working together. Maybe they're doing some sort of co-teaching model, or maybe, it seems to me if this is about inclusion, maybe they're talking about a push-in model where there's some sort of collaborative process going on. I talked about co-teaching in another video, and I can link that down below.
The benefit of inclusive practices for students in special education is that they are surrounded by and learning from their peers.
What I like about general education classes is having friends in the classroom that that can sometimes help you out on some assignments or some units that you may not be able to do all that well.
When students with disabilities are in a...
I think that was a good point. Students can help kids learn so much, and if you're not in an inclusive setting, then the general ed students aren't there to help teach. So much of the learning happens through the kids. The kids helping other kids learning, kids modeling how they're learning and demonstrating how to do something. Just so much of that makes it so much more valid. And when you don't have that in the classroom, when it's not an inclusive setting, you miss out on all those opportunities for supporting the teaching.
Classroom with their typical peers, they have lots of role models, both for academic skills and social skills.
I like being in class with my friends, my teacher, doing work that's appropriate for me.
It also provides...
Well, that's powerful. I mean, the kid wants to be in class with the kids, their teacher doing work that's appropriate. I mean, it just makes sense. It just makes a lot of sense to me.
Provides a chance for general ed students and general ed peers to get to know special ed students and really see them as individuals that they can interact with, they can learn with, they can learn from.
Yeah, there's things to be learned from people with disabilities. Huge life lessons to be learned. Friendships to be made. It's robbing people of those opportunities to not allow them to be in class together. So that's why it's so important.
I get to see my friends, and I get to have a social life with other people who don't have disabilities like me.
The classrooms of today are communities of tomorrow. So by having inclusive settings, we are creating and establishing a future society where all people are accepted and embraced for their differences. The words acceptance, understanding, respect, tolerance all come into play. It makes us better teachers, and in essence, makes us better people.
So model it after society where people do operate and work together. I mean, like a city bus where you're going to see people with disabilities. That's part of society. You don't have a separate bus. They're included in the public transportation, in the workforce. Let's model these classrooms after society. Let's get them included in regular classrooms here.
Inclusive practices are grounded in concepts of equity and civil rights. For students with disabilities, inclusive practices require a range of services in classroom and extracurricular settings.
The benefits of inclusive practice, especially as done in school, is making sure that every child is included in all the activities and academic rigor and requirements here at school. We have a lot of kids who are mainstream 100% of the time in the classroom, so if they go on a field trip, for example, we have to make sure that every child has accessibility to that field trip.
All right, so field trips, every child has to have accessibility, otherwise they don't even do the field trip. So it's just about equity, keeping it fair for everybody. It just doesn't feel right to not allow somebody on a field trip if they're not able to go because of some physical limitation, if we're not doing everything we can to address that.
We have work to do. Currently, we serve a larger percentage of students in special education classrooms than the state percentage. In MPS, students with disabilities are suspended at a higher rate than state targets, and graduate from high school and enroll in higher education at a lower rate than statewide. We need to do better for our students. Expanding our use of inclusive practices will help all our students prepare for success in school and in life.
Positive benefit.
I like that they acknowledge that they have to do better. Statewide, there's fewer suspensions and higher graduation. Why do you think that is? Leave a comment down below. Let's keep watching.
Of inclusive practices is seeing a second grade girl with special needs, and they were having a science unit on balance and motion. She was the first one to figure out how to balance the mobile, and then all her classmates were coming over. How did you do that? Show me. And it was just a great opportunity for the whole class to see that we all have strengths and can help each other.
I think a positive experience for me is when I see a child that's come from a self-contained early childhood special ed room and moved into our room as an inclusion student, and then moved on, and we get to see them here at our school in a second grade or a third grade, and they are successful and independent and often not even needing special education services at all.
I love it. I mean, it's true that when kids kind of go from a separate setting and then they get experienced with inclusion, that they just blossom. I've seen that so often. The behavior blossoms, language blossoms. They're exposed to interesting content that they just get excited about school. I would challenge that they may still need special education services if they have a learning difference, or many learning differences. But that can be done in the inclusive setting.
One of my favorite things to do in that class is to share weekend or break events, and they started asking questions about it. That kind of gets more interesting, and then it makes these type of activities much better to do in these classes.
One of the hard of hearing students helped to create and present a PowerPoint in her classroom on hearing and hearing loss. After the presentation, her classmates had many questions which she was able to answer, and she began to feel like she was an expert on hearing loss. And as a result of that, she gained confidence and began advocating for her listening needs in the classroom.
I went cross-country skiing with my friends and my teachers, and yeah, it was awesome. I liked it a lot.
Cross-country skiing?
And cold at the same time.
You have to see where she came from to where she is now. Not talking, not expressing herself, wanting to just be around people she were like her aunts and people she was more comfortable with. I guess being more social and aware of her who she is and what she's capable of. And I think she's more focused on that now. She's came a long way. I'm proud of my baby.
That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out Minneapolis Public Schools homepage for more information.